the scope of protection conferred by a community design shall include any design which does not produce on the informed user a different overall impression. So if the accused design has the same overall impression as the registered design, then there will be infringement. And if the accused design has a different overall impression from the registered design, then there will be no infringement. So that, as I say, is the direct source of law for EU registered and unregistered designs. The UK Registered Designs Act 1949, but as amended far more recently to bring it into conformity with the EU directive, says pretty much the same thing. And then there's the UK Supplementary Unregistered Design and the UK Continuing Unregistered Community Design. Those are the post-Brexit UK unregistered designs, the UK supplementary unregistered design being essentially a carbon copy of the EU unregistered design law as it used to apply in the UK before Brexit, and the UK continuing unregistered community design is all the EU unregistered designs that had not yet expired on Brexit Day. They're allowed to keep going in the UK until they expire. So all of those different types of design, they all have exactly the same test for infringement. We've decided what the design sector is, and that will have an impact on what arises in the design corpus. And then you've got to look at where the registered design sits in the design corpus. If it's a markedly different design, nothing like anything that was there before in that design sector, then it's going to have a greater impact and a broader overall impression. And there's going to be a greater room for differences which do not affect overall impression. So we're going to have a wider scope of protection. If it's, on the other hand, surrounded by kindred prior art, which I think is a old, goes back a long time to one of the older cases, that means that small differences are more likely to affect the overall impression, because the informed user is going to recognize the design by its very particular features rather than its broad sweeping differences from anything that was around before. So that's how the design corpus counts. Then we've talked about design freedom. Does the designer have a high degree of design freedom? Not very many constraints. Or does the designer have a low degree of design freedom? Lots and lots of constraints that he has to take into account. And again, high degree of design freedom, the overall impression can be in broader terms. So again, there's greater room for differences that do not affect the overall impression. If there's a high degree of design freedom, more things might infringe. Whereas if the designer has a low degree of design freedom, then more minor details will be part of the overall impression. The designer, of course, will find it more difficult to make changes, but those minor changes that the designer manages to make will be part of the overall impression.